Untitled Golden Retrievers and part 1 of our discussion on applying positive reinforcement training tips to sits, downs, and stays. I'm Karen, and you're currently watching Tonka, a Piper Luke puppy who is 9 weeks, 4 days old in this video. Tonka, along with his litter mates, is going to help me demonstrate how to correct some of the more common problems puppies have with the sit, stay, and the down stay exercises, as we discuss over 30 tips for good positive reinforcement training. There were 9 puppies in this litter. In this video, part 1 will feature the 4 puppies that left us right at 10 weeks and will be an introduction to the positive reinforcement training tips that will be given primarily in 2 other videos. Subscribe if you want to see parts 2 and 3. Once I've posted them, they will be linked below in the description. Parts 2 and 3 will include video clips of the puppies not only at 9.5 weeks of age, but also at 10.5 weeks so that you can see the improvements made with an additional week of training and how we made those improvements. 3 of the puppies stayed until around 12 weeks of age, and there will be videos of them at older ages linked below as well. The second puppy is Jasper. Both Tonka and Jasper are more advanced than most of our puppies at 10 weeks of age. As you continue watching, you'll see that at 9.5 weeks, the degree of success in the stay exercises varies considerably from puppy to puppy. However, the gap between the different puppies tends to close as puppies get closer to the 11-week mark and they begin to develop greater self-control and therefore a greater ability to maintain a reliable sit, stay, and down stay. Because both Tonka and Jasper demonstrated that they had sufficient self-control to successfully maintain a good stay, we trained them to a higher level than the others. However, we didn't train either of them to the point where they no longer enjoyed their work. Our first positive reinforcement training tip is this: do not push your puppy too hard or you will kill his drive and desire to work with you. This next puppy is Iris. Iris is doing a good job, however she's demonstrating a couple of very common problems. First of all, you can see that she is sniffing the ground. This is because I had just worked with another puppy in the same location who had tended to dribble food out of his mouth. I thought that I had picked up what was dropped, but apparently had missed a piece or 2 and left them hiding in the grass. Having food on the ground is a big distraction for puppies. Therefore, tip number 2 in this video is to make sure you either don't drop food, or if you do, make sure you pick it back up before the puppy finds it. If a puppy is consistently finding food on the ground, then he will quickly lose interest in working for the food when he can find it for free. Until you and your puppy are to the point where you rarely, if ever, drop food, keep your training either inside or on a driveway or sidewalk where dropped food is easy for you to spot. Grass will hide dropped food from you, but it won't hide the food from a puppy who is using his nose rather than his eyes to find it. Another problem that Iris is demonstrating is a tendency towards sliding her front feet forward during a sit stay, causing her to move from a sit to a down. This problem is super common when you start to back away from a puppy that is in a sit position. We fix this by applying tip number 3, which is to give hints when necessary in order to keep your puppy successful. Notice the hints that I gave Iris. First of all, the second Iris began to slide down, I walked back toward her. Secondly, I gave her a hand signal reminder of the correct position. Thirdly, I slightly raised my knee toward Iris when I started to back up again. Fourthly, I backed up slowly until I could see that Iris was staying firmly in a sit. And fifthly, I didn't back up very far until I could see that Iris wasn't going to slide her feet forward and go back down again. Gradually, I faded the hints when Iris could figure out what to do by herself. Next, we have Lucy, who is struggling with self-control and some confusion. Like Iris, Lucy's a more active puppy who doesn't quite have enough self-control to be as successful as some of the others at this age in the stay exercises. I want to talk a little here about why they are struggling with staying in the correct position. We'll go into more detail in another video. The biggest reason for the problem, as has already been discussed, is it takes a lot of self-control to maintain position in a sit stay or a down stay. An active nature, such as Lucy or Iris's, tends to lend itself more successfully to working in the moving exercises like heeling. Check out our heeling video that is linked below, where you can see both Lucy and Iris at their best. However, The exercises that require them to stay still tend to be more difficult for these more active puppies. They need a little more maturity and practice to build the necessary self-control. Another factor that makes the stay exercises difficult is that at the same time as we are working with puppies on stay skills, we're also working on skills that require the puppies to move with us. For example, the recall requires them to move and come towards us. Heeling, likewise, requires puppies to move and follow us. As you watch Lucy here at 9.5 weeks, notice how she is working her front feet back and forth. She is really trying hard to pay attention, control her urges to move, figure out what position I am asking her for, and earn her reward. Lucy and Iris are trying to do 3 things at once. They're trying to remember which position to maintain. They're trying to remember if they should stay still or move with me. Then, when they finally understand what they should be doing, they're trying to muster up the self-control to actually carry it out. This is a lot to ask of an active young puppy. As we finish up with Lucy's video clip, notice that I worked the entire session with Lucy up close. I never backed away from her more than a couple of steps. This brings me to tip number 4. Don't move forward with your training until the easier levels are being correctly performed more than 80% of the time. It is very important that your puppy remains successful and that they are enjoying the work. Lucy didn't catch on to the stay exercises as well as most of our puppies do at 9.5 weeks. However, as we kept the training easy and worked the basics up close, we were able to help Lucy build more self-control and to make substantial progress during subsequent training sessions, even before she left us at 10 weeks. This concludes part 1. If you like this video, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you'll know when we post more videos on positive reinforcement training and golden retriever puppies. Parts 2 and 3 will be posted soon. Thanks for watching.